Need a light? Speak loud.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday Night Mouse Party. I am DM Foss, and joining me tonight is DJ. How you doing, DJ?
I am doing well. Glad to be here.
Guns and Barbecue. How you doing?
I'm great, thank you.
And for the first time, hopefully not the last, we have Chris from the 740. He stayed up to be on. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for the invite. I've been excited to do this show for a long time. This is my Thursday at work listening to the replay show.
Well, hopefully you don't get too disappointed after being on there. But how you doing, Baron?
Oh, I'm doing awesome. This is going to be a fun show.
Oops. Let me. It's going to put up the banner, but I'm not sure which banner I need to put up. So we've got two in there.
Wednesday night Mouse Party.
So that one.
Yep.
All right. So there's scrolling down at the bottom of the screen is email and our website, which takes you to the email. You can send in suggestions, comments, pictures within reason, or whatever. And there's a link in the description for both the Overnight Discord and the Gilded. Baron,
the better version of Discord.
Can you explain to everybody what the Gilded is?
Well, if it's exactly like Discord, except better in every way. Less assholes. It's free. You get all the stuff you have to pay for on Discord that costs money, $10 a month. It is free on Gilded.
Discord.
I couldn't hear G-Webs.
Oh, I didn't know you had to pay for stuff on Discord. What do you got to pay for over there?
Like if you, their file size upload limit is 8 megabytes. And if you
so
want,
it's called Nitro, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's $10 a month, and it'll up you to like 50 megabytes. Gilded is 250 out of the gate for free. So a quarter of a gigabyte you can upload for free.
Oh, I never found a place on Gilded to even pay them. I was like, how am I getting this for free? This is awesome.
Yeah. The only way they make money, as far as I am aware, is they have a subscription service where you can donate to a channel. Like people could donate to G-Webs through your Gilded server.
Okay.
And they would take a tiny portion of that.
Yeah, I'll just take some of my Patreon and shove it through so that they get paid. Because, yeah, if this works, this is amazing system.
Yeah, I really like it.
So the Gilded, we're getting up and going, and we'll probably transfer to that. Right now, there's not as much movement as everything's kind of getting set up and everybody's getting used to using it. But eventually we'll migrate over from Discord to the Gilded. And G-Webs, how you doing tonight?
Good. Sorry. Thanks for the link and thanks for hosting. But sorry for interrupting whatever flow you had going there.
Oh no, it's not a big deal. So checking my list of stuff that I'm supposed to cover. We covered that.
Like and comment.
Yeah, if you want to, you can like and comment. If you watch this in replay, please leave a comment. I appreciate when people leave comments. If you have suggestions, or if we cover a topic and you have comments about them, something we got right, something we got wrong, I really appreciate the feedback. And we had a couple polls that we can cover. Last week, since there was no show, we didn't talk about last week's poll. Let me call it up here. Let me find the tab that it's in.
I forgot about last week. What was last week's?
It was. There it
Is
is.
it a food one?
No, best type of amusement park ride. We had 61 votes. 69% said roller coaster. 20% said log ride. 5% carousel. 3% the spinny, swirly, upside down kind of rides like the Scrambler, Tilt-A-Whirl. 3% said Ferris wheel. And looking at the comments, Krabby Turtle said, like them all at different stages in my life. Now my favorite is the bench. I'm kind of getting that way.
Yeah, that's the right answer.
Philo said Ferris wheel with cute girls. Some very fond memories of first love and first pickups. Can't beat it. Caucasian Sasquatch. Where else can I ride a horse without being bitten and kicked? So I'm guessing he said carousel. Jason Stewart said the best ride is the drive home and the kids are worn out and asleep.
Oh, yeah.
Sergeant Joe Smith. I liked the bumper cars at Adventureland in Des Moines as a kid. The log ride was fun. TJ Persicity says funnel cake. G-Web says food court. Music Logic, formerly known as TPC. Always a coaster freak. And Vanessa Kitty said none of the above. They would kill me today. But in past years, every roller coaster I could find. I do enjoy roller coasters. I like the ones that are fast but smooth. I don't like the kind of herky-jerky ones that throw you side to side. You get bumps and bruises.
While is something to be said for wooden coasters, the classics, they do thrash you around quite a bit.
There's two that I really like. They're both at the same park in Japan, at the Fuji Q Highlands. Now I'm forgetting the prefecture. But I tried to find the pictures that I had, but all the pictures that we had were actually honest photos. This was back in about 2000 when it was still kind of early in the digital camera realm, so we didn't have one. And then the pictures you get from the park, of you on the right, I don't know where I put them, so I couldn't find them. But there's the Fujiyama, which when it was built in 96, was the tallest roller coaster at 259 feet. That one was fun. And it was, for the first year, it was the fastest, but was never credited officially as the fastest. I think it was like 81 miles per hour.
Too bad it wasn't 88.
The other one is the Do Dodonpa, which it's a really short ride, but it was when it was built in when was it built? In 2001. When it opened in 2001, was the fastest coaster, 0 to 107 in 1.8 seconds. So it's 3.5
Holy
Gs.
shit.
It's an experience because you get they use an air catapult, and when you're launched out, it basically collapses your lungs and you can't breathe, and it's just long enough where you think you're never going to breathe again, and then it slows down just enough you can get your first breath. It's a really short ride. They've revamped it recently, but it used to be
Is that
basically
the one that just goes straight up? Like
Well,
a circle going straight up on a pole?
no. It launches you straight out, and then you kind of go up. You go vertically, go over the top, come down, and then loop around. It's it's a really short ride, but that launch is.
Because I remember watching something. I'm not into roller coasters, so I don't retain it. But it was something about in Japan where it was a roller coaster. It was like a pole, like a really big pole. But then the ride was like a circle around the pole, and it went up really fast. But I think people died, or else it went to the top and dropped. I forget. It did something that was pretty crazy, and everybody liked it. But then people died, and they had to close it down.
Well, that's what on the Dodonpa, when they revamped it a few years ago, they upped the speed to 112 in 1.6 seconds, and there are people getting broken bones and stuff. So they
Nice.
I don't know. They closed it so they could revamp it again, and I'm not sure if it's reopened yet. But
they would hear this was in Japan, right?
Yeah.
So in whatever, however you say this in Japanese, they would hear people cry out, "My wrists! I shoot 9mm."
It's it's a god awful wait in line. I swear we waited like an hour. And you have to go up a staircase. But when you start out, there's kind of this drums, and it goes do, don, ba, do, don, ba. And then the closer you get, the faster it gets. So as you progress, it'll get a little faster. Do, don, ba. And then do, don, ba. And then when you're waiting to get on, it's do, don, ba, do, don, ba. So, it gets you pumped a little bit to go. And I tried to find video, but I didn't think none of them really gave you the feel of how it is to be on it. It looks slower in the video than when you're, that crush that you feel and the launch and the wind. The videos just, do not do it justice. So I didn't bother.
Do they do a lot of upside down stuff over there?
There are some. Same park had a double loop one, which was okay. But it was there were parts in it where you slammed you side to side, and I didn't really care for it.
I didn't like the kind where, man, I haven't done this in a long time because I'm too big to go on these things, and I always was, but I never liked them anyway. But the kind where you do anything backwards, and especially the kind that jerk your head around, but when they go forward, and then they're like, no, let's go do that backwards now, and then it jerks your head around backwards. I hated that. Yeah,
there's another coaster in Japan that when it was built, it was the longest and fastest. And it's a 4-minute ride. It's the Steel Dragon 2000. But to go there from my mother-in-law's house, it's like a full day to get there. And then we just never made it out there.
So are these parks like 1 or 2 rides and that's the park? Or is it like 100 things to do and the ride is one of the 100 things?
No, there's like 100 things to do. They even have squid on a stick at the Fuji-Q Island.
So people are going there for like a zillion reasons. So not everybody's in line for everything.
No, I mean, there's a bunch of different rides, and then there's like all the adult rides, and then there's a section for the kid rides and stuff.
So I must say I'm a fan of the original coaster, and that's the train at the amusement parks.
Like just the big or the little train that you sit on, but it's like big enough to sit on?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the one that they have the person that sits on it and acts as a conductor, then they pull like 60 people around the park.
Because I've been on kinds where you sit in the train, but then I liked the ones when I was a little kid where the conductor would be sitting on the engine, like it's they're maybe a little bit bigger than a cooler or something. So then it's like you're a giant sitting on top of the train. It's a giant train.
Oh, yep.
But it's just a toy train. It's just a giant toy train. So you're sitting on it like a motorcycle, kind of.
Yep.
I like those kind because they'd have tunnels and stuff, depending on where you were, I guess. I was always at places that were like a garden or something, and that was just a thing. It wasn't like a toy, it wasn't like a train museum, and that was the main feature or nothing.
I don't know if I said the Fujiyama, the tall coaster. It was 259 feet. It was one of the first hyper coasters.
Did you say 259 people lost their feet on that?
No, 259 feet tall. And let me jump back and say hello to people out in the chat. DJ was out there earlier. Mandatory Carry was out there. He probably fell asleep. Krabby Turtle was here, but I think he's gone. Chris was out there early. Wesley Foster says is here. Milsurp Duo. Gunmetal Guy USA. Pink Panther was kind enough to leave a comment. Tim S. Pink Panther was saying, food court or arcade. Kings Island had VR games years before they became the thing. And Baron, can you do me a favor and drop a link for the polls? I forgot to grab that.
Yeah.
So Baron will drop a link for the polls. So if you haven't voted, you can jump over there and vote real quickly.
Yeah, Kings Island's just south of me, about 2.5 hours.
When I was in, I forget what grade. Must have been junior high. So 80, early 80s, mid 80s. I thought a cool video game would be a room. Basically, it was like a virtual where, each panel on the, each wall of the room had a video screen. So you were inside of it, and then it was something about a wolf, and you had to kill the wolf. And I don't remember exactly. That was a long time ago.
I think my favorite roller coaster would be Space Mountain at Disneyland. Has anyone done that?
Oh yeah, nice choice.
I can't remember
One time, but it was neat. It was inside, right?
Yep. And it's all blacked out, and all you can see is stars and like lights, like you're getting blasted through at light speed. Yeah.
I did, but in Japan, at Tokyo Disneyland. I've ridden a lot of rides in Japan. I haven't ridden very many in the U.S.
In that
My
one,
favorite
they
was-
drift all the time instead of going up and down. They just drift.
I think my favorite was the Magnum up at Cedar Point. When they,
Ooh,
I think
Cedar
they
Point.
brought that in '89. It was the first. I think it was the first coaster in Ohio that was over 200 feet.
Cedar Point is one of those parks that consistently had. I've been out of the coaster game for a while, but they always had 2 or 3 that were at the top of some international list. The longest, the fastest, the whateverest. And I have never been. I always wanted to do that, and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum.
Yeah.
Good time.
We would, when I was in my freshman year in high school, one of my real good friends had an older brother, and we would skip school on Monday mornings, and we would go up there with his older brother and his best friend, and no one was in that park on a Monday morning. And we would, you just get off the ride, just go around and get right back on it. And we used to have so much fun doing that. We got in a lot of trouble when we got home, but it was worth it.
The closest I've been able to come to an experience like that was the other end of the day in the fall in Kansas City. There's a park called Worlds of Fun, and they close out after Halloween. Halloween is the last day that they're open, and that is when they're only open in the evening. They've been closed during the day for a week or more. School is back in session for quite some time, and there is not a lot of competition. Wonderful time to visit a park.
The only coasters I've ridden in the U.S. I did ride the one at the Mall of America, which I was really disappointed by the Mall of America. They have it's segmented so much you don't get a feel of this, how large it is. I was hoping it would just be, this huge open space with all the shops and stuff. But when you're in there,
is it a straight line, or is it like a big Z shape, or like a zigzag shape? Or
I have to remember. It's like 3 stories. I forget if it's more than that, and then just there's other than the center where they had the rides, there is no like long view of everything, you know.
Oh,
So it'd be kind of like you're walking into just a building with businesses rather than, I don't. Yeah, I wanted something like an amphitheater kind of feel with shops around, where you just get the sense of the immenseness. But it was kind of disappointing. I thought.
and then if it's big and it's not just one big area, is it like you're walking along and then here's another of that store, and then you walk along and here's a third version of the same store because it's so big they just have 4 versions of the same store in different parts of it?
Kind of, but I don't really remember what shops were even there. This was, more than 10 years ago.
This is Minnesota, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I went there for my brother's wedding. That was when they had the tornado.
They got married in the Mall of America?
No, but while we were there, we went to the Mall of America to go check it out. Mandatory carry came back. And other than that, there's a wood coaster at the fairgrounds in Puyallup where the state fair is at. And then, like, when I was 4, the carnival that would come to our hometown had the little caterpillar looking one, that did the little loop. And I think I screamed the whole time because I wanted it to stop.
What the heck is that? Captain Hook? Join the panel.
And Ulu? And
I don't know. I'm assuming it's for some kind of barbecuing. Jabbing a ham or something? Jabbing a turkey? Doesn't that look like something like that? It's too fancy to be anything else. It's not
is it a pit fork?
Right? I mean, it's a salt pit fork. It's not shouldn't be available for the public, in my opinion.
Oh, that is totally a tuning fork.
Just for sticking into a ham or what? Turkey?
No, that's clearly one of Raphael's size.
No, size different than this completely. Want to go get a size?
I've got
handle system.
Do you have one?
Mine are upstairs.
Yes.
Oh, Foss, you need to totally have those on the show. Come on.
Next, I'll bring them out next week.
We should have a ninja weapon off. We'll play for pink slips of ninja weapons. But I'm assuming this is some kind of barbecue device. You would never use this in a regular kitchen, or else it's for like jam it into a turkey and then you cut a chunk of turkey off.
I would think it's more like you were saying ham or roast.
I'm
Like a
thinking
roast, I
it's
guess, yeah.
for like a rotisserie.
Like you think it's a part of the machine, or I think it's just for holding on and then cutting. Like you would do like this.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. You would use a fancier knife than this. Something like that. Anyway, I was gonna give this away earlier.
Oh, I guess I could have made a big screen for everybody.
Nobody's ever seen one of these? I figured barbecue would be like, oh, that's obviously a size 4, blah blah blah.
It does kind of look like what you're describing. I just hadn't seen one that's kind of fancy like.
Oh, I see. That's like a handle there.
Yeah, see?
Like
Definitely
a pit
looks
fork.
like it was a set of something, right?
Yep. Yeah. I'm
These are
thinking.
nice. These aren't like fooling around. Like if you needed to dispatch like something that needed to be dispatched with, then make it look like a giant snake did it.
Probably used just to jam like a large roast or ham or something, and then you take your other hand and carve it with the knife.
Yeah, like a steamship round they would have on a giant buffet where the thing's like immense, and there's one guy in a toque, wheeling away at those. But that Ulu is really cool.
Yeah, is that what this is called? It's the same place. I got this, and I've never owned one before, and now I understand why people own them. Like these things are super neat. I really want to start cutting things with it. I could totally see how this would be good for skinning. Yeah, has anybody ever owned one of these?
Not me.
Nothing.
No,
It's so neat, and it's it's on a little thing designed for like, sucker, you bought that or whatever. It says Alaska up here for like, some kind of tourist thing. But I'll tell you what, I mean, this one might not be a good one, but now I want a good one because this thing seems super interesting. It's like chalking up on a cleaver. Doesn't it look like that? Like I'm just biting into, really chalking up on a cleaver, but I gave myself a couple of finger holes there.
Yeah, I've only ever seen them on TV. I've never seen one up close.
Yeah, I've never held one. I couldn't leave it there for the price. I was like, I'll give that away or whatever. And then I can't put it down. I keep fiddling with it. Super neat. And I don't want to fiddle with it too much because it's nice. I don't want to ruin it. But it is kind of sharp. Like it's 440 or something. I could cut something with this. If I had a piece of paper nearby. This is just an eBay receipt. Imagine if that was the hide of what do they have up there? Reindeer. Not that part. The first part where it cut nice.
You just ruined the pelt.
But now I kind of want one, like a real one, not a fancy one.
Ozzy Osbourne is out there. Good evening. Oop, there we go. Mandatory Carey is saying that Papa Carey, his dad had a skinning knife like that. And let's go take a look at our other poll.
I'm not saying I'm a super skinner, but this thing definitely seems like it would be clever, handy for skinning. Maybe have like a little hook thing on it somewhere.
This week's poll was, I just said choose a phobia. Whether you have it's one you have or one you want, I don't know. But it's just kind of, I didn't have anything for the poll, and that's what came to mind. So we had 42 votes. 52% said acrophobia, fear of heights. 21% phobia, fear of phobias. Phobophobia, I guess that is. And claustrophobia, fear of confined spaces at 10%. Agoraphobia, fear of open spaces or crowd, 12%. And xenophobia, fear of strangers or foreigners, 5%. Looking at the comments, X Adam 1 said, "What? No, I fear no beer." Sergeant Joe Smith, "What is fear of liberals called?" PNW Woods, "Heights is a hard pass." G-Web says, "My fear is not having my fear included on this list, but I'll deal with it." Yeah, I really wish there were more choices, and I wish these would, the polls that you do during the chat, I wish those would show up in the replay.
Yeah, that drives me nuts, but it's got to be insane to code that, so I guess I understand it.
So the fear of large words is actually 27 letters long.
Wow.
I'm
Nice.
dead serious as well. This is look it up. I have no idea how to pronounce it.
And
What's
G, what you have there is a vintage L.E. Mason Carve-Right 2-prong meat carving fork.
Wait, what? Oh, you're talking about the one thing? What is it again?
And the company's name is L.E. Mason, and the product is called a Carve-Right 2-prong meat carving fork. Had to do an image search to find that. That was fascinating. So we're right on top of it.
Vanessa Kitty said, "LOL, really loud and cackling, not enough listed." Music Logic, Morano Stereo, hatred of stupid people. He doesn't really have any unreasonable fears. Caucasian Sasquatch said, "Fear of loose pants." TJ Mars, "When I was a kid, I didn't like being in big open spaces, and looking at the sky made me feel uneasy." Philo said, "Even though I enjoy things like skydiving, hang gliding, rock climbing, and bungee jumping, I'm terrible at heights. I often get vertigo. Even just climbing steep enough hiking trails where the open horizon comes into view, I sometimes have to squat for a few seconds to regain my balance. Once my feet leave the ground, I'm fine, though. I think it's strange, too. Let's see. I had looked up one that I actually have, and I forgot how you pronounce it. So I'm going to look it up real quick.
Yeah, I got the fear of heights. I get vertigo. Not fun.
I think I have a healthy fear of heights where I can overcome it. You know, once I'm up, I can get acclimated and I'm okay. I don't know, you know, like the guys that walk on the girders when they're building skyscrapers. I don't know about that. Or
Yeah, my brother used to wash windows on skyscrapers in Seattle. Fuck that.
Or, you know, if you've seen the videos of the guys at the top of the windmills.
Yeah. They're just sitting there eating lunch.
So I have sphexisophobia, fear of wasps, which I don't know why. You know, it's an irrational fear, which drives me crazy. And it came on probably about 10 years ago.
All bees or just that one kind?
Mainly yellow jackets. Wasps, wasps a little bit, but like
I've seen this thing today that was like, imagine like a bumblebee, how they're big and fat like a pit bull, right? But it was all black and it was like, I don't know, huge. Would you be scared of something like that?
Well, bumblebees and honeybees don't bother me at all.
What about a big pink version that's all black, like a murdered out bumblebee that's like 4 times bigger than any bumblebee I've ever seen?
Would it be called an assault bumblebee?
But definitely.
Because
like
I've seen
PNG version of a bumblebee.
I've seen the murder hornets. I've seen the murder hornets up close, and it.
This didn't look mean. It looked like a bumblebee, but just like an armored up bumblebee.
It might have been there's a moth. Well,
you can see it being
they're
well,
bigger.
it had bee-like wings though, but it made like a buzz sound.
Yeah, because there's
but I was able to splash it with water, and it just sat there for like a half an hour because it was wet.
I was thinking hummingbird. There's a moth that flies like a hummingbird, but
those I hate because they'll eat like an entire tomato plant in an afternoon. Like you go out there, everything's fine. You go out there again, and half your tomato plant's gone because of that freaking bug.
I hate gypsy moths. Sweet baby Jesus. Friggin' when you be working security and you just be sitting in this guard shack all night, and then you look out the opposite window at like 6 a.m. and there's a friggin' moth there that's the size of a friggin' 10-inch dinner plate. No.
That's a huge thing for Washington because of the apple crops, the gypsy moths.
They
all
eat
the
vegetables.
There's tight controls on bringing fruit, like to the east side where all the apple trees are. That you're not allowed to, even though our governor did it. But yeah, for the hornets, I don't know why it started. Because growing up as a kid, you stick sticks down in a ground hornet's nest or swat them out of the sky, out of the air, and it didn't really bother me. I've been stung I don't know how many times. It just got one day I found one in the house, covered it with glass and a piece of paper, took it outside, and I could not let it go because I started to worry, what if it comes back and stings me? And I knew how many times have you done that before? 1,000 times. And I could not do it. I sat the glass down on the porch and left it there. And it was, the irrational part of it is what I hate it. And I don't understand why it started all of a sudden. Even looking at pictures would get me. To where I would start breathing faster, and it's not as bad now. It's kind of, I don't know if it's going away. And if I'm in public, I can kind of control it. If I'm with my kids, then I can control it because I have to, for their sake, so they don't get scared of stuff. But I never understood, when you see stories on people with phobias and stuff, and why you think they're stupid because they're panicking over a picture or something, and then it somehow happened to me, and it drives me crazy that it's that way. I don't know why.
Well, that's what makes it a phobia, right?
Yeah. And like I said, it's not as bad as it was, so hopefully it's
Do you have any examples of missing time where you were minding your business one day and then like 5 hours later you remembered the rest of it, but there was like 5 hours you don't remember?
I don't remember having no memory of something.
That's the same as having it happen. So it's possible that the aliens took you and did things to you, and then you're remembering that you can't remember.
It's possible. You wake up and you're wearing
I feel like if you
striped
can't
pajamas.
remember it, that's evidence that you can't remember it.
They get caught up out there. So we'll just go down to Pink Panther saying PSD from watching The Swarm. I did watch that as a kid, the 70s movie The Swarm.
Is that back
More
when?
worried about a swarm of bees or a swarm of piranhas?
I would be more concerned about the bees, just because I don't have never dealt with piranhas. X Adam 1 is saying he has fear of dying in his sleep. You never know that you died if that happens. I figured if you don't know, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, then you're like, you never get to finish anything.
I think going to your sleep's the way to go. Give me a massive brain aneurysm when I'm sleeping. I'll take that any day.
Yeah, I gotta agree. That's how I'd want to go in my sleep.
I would just prefer not to see it coming.
I don't know. While you say you'd like to go in your sleep, think about all the things that happen when you're just mildly conscious and you're aware of all the things that are going on around you. Imagine having something like an aneurysm or a heart attack or stroke or something and not being able to wake up, but being fully aware something's going on. That's not right.
Never thought of it that way.
Is he trying to give us phobias of dying in our sleep? Because
Halfway dying. You didn't really
What
die.
the hell,
you just
man?
Halfway died. You only got paralyzed somehow.
You're only mostly dead.
should we put a warning at the beginning of this video?
Like, whoops, it gets super crazy right at the 39-minute
Warning, barbecue's a dick.
And there's a bunch of people that even said earlier in the chat, you can highlight the chats where they're like, I'm going to be listening as I fall off to sleep.
Well, that's like the stories of the people that wake up in the morgue.
People are going to be
Oh,
like,
man.
oh, the mouse party? I have horrible fears of that show. Why? I don't know why. I listened to it one night as I fell asleep, and now I can't even think of listening.
Yeah, well, that's why the Victorians had those, signal flags they'd have on their coffins. So if they woke up in the grave, they could signal that they weren't dead.
Bells above ground.
Yeah.
Trippy.
How much of that kind of stuff was somebody's like, I need to sell all these bells. And I know a guy who sells coffins and a guy who has drills. Or like how much of it was like actual fear of that.
Oh, 100% conspiracy. Like they got with the doctors. They're like, hey, can you just start saying people are dead so we can sell these bells? And they're like, why would we do that? They're like, well, we'll put the bell on their toe. Then when they wake up, they'll just, we can go dig them out. We don't want people to actually die.
Have a good night, Tim.
Dead people, they would steal them out of the graves. So I'm sure they put bells on graves to, if somebody was like out there messing around, they'd start hearing these bells. They'd run out and be like, get out of here, send the dogs out.
Sorry, I ran off Tim. He probably got to thinking about that whole dying in your sleep thing too much. He's like, I can't handle this.
Well,
Just
just
go stay
remember,
up the rest of my life.
the stake to the heart for a vampire, you don't use a stake to the heart to kill them. You use the stake to the heart to pin them to the ground when they're in their grave, so they can't rise from the dead. That's what the stake to the heart is.
Right. It's the only thing that tethers them to that place where everything
Yeah.
else
Which,
just not bother.
if you're getting close enough to do that, why would you not have some garlic or something with you?
To kill them also.
Yeah.
Well, aren't
Well,
they
the
super
garlic,
rich?
Like,
garlic
there's.
didn't kill
Ward
them.
them off.
Yeah, they just didn't
I
like
thought.
garlic.
Gotcha. Okay. So how the heck do you kill the vampire?
You can kill them by wiping garlic over them, couldn't you? What if you made like a garlic paste and wiped it all
I thought it
over
was
'em?
only the sunlight that was the only thing that would take them out.
I
Is
think
it?
that's fake. I don't know. I don't think the book had any of that, right? Like they.
I don't know. I saw that movie Twilight. They just sparkle.
Well, what I was saying about the stake to the heart, that's not. I don't know if that's in the book. I've never read the book. That's
Yeah,
the
me neither.
actual what you do. It's worked for me every time. None of them have come back.
Which
Also-
book again?
Dracula, probably. I don't know.
Also, if you believe that vampires sparkle, you probably shoot 9mm.
Patriot in the Dark's out there. Good evening. Yeah, I had neighbors, the old retired couple that were from Forks, where they filmed the
Nice.
vampire movies, and
Twilight.
it's where they filmed Twilight, and they said if there were any sparkly people, they would have got their ass kicked. In Forks.
Yeah, not all
Not the-
parts of Washington are Seattle.
Yeah, well, Forks is a logging town up in tiny logging town in the middle of nowhere, in the woods. Yeah, she said that they have tours of like the high school, but they didn't use that high school in the movie. So I think Forks has is it Forks that has logging days? Their yearly festival.
I
We
do not
have
know.
rodeo days in Arizona, or in Tucson at least. Like kids get off school for rodeo days. It's like 3 days off school, so they can go watch the rodeo.
Mandatory carry saying stake to the heart pins them to the ground but doesn't kill them. Sunlight kills vampires.
So in Dracula, I think Van Helsing beheads the vampires after.
Oh yeah, that's another way that you can kill them. You're supposed to rip off their head or something, right?
Yeah.
You'd ask a vampire to be on the show, boss. Find out all the tips and tricks.
I don't know any actual vampires.
DJ probably does.
Yeah, I hang out enough in this dark, For sure.
Last overnight chat when we were talking about EDC guns, we had a photo that was submitted by Gunpowder Beauty, and it went to my spam folder, so I didn't see it. So I told her I would show it this week.
Probably trying to hack you, right?
I don't know. But she sent in a picture of her 1911.
Called it.
It is a nice 1911.
I'm still really jealous because she's getting an incredible deal on another Smith 1911.
But looks like she's got a pretty good setup there.
That is pretty.
That is nice.
She could have framed it a little better, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
What's the red
Well, I mean,
at the bottom?
you're letting a girl
Lipstick?
take the photo.
Girl stuff.
Or nail polish, maybe.
Looks like lipstick.
I think.
Maybe.
little known, the way she made her logo was she actually just kissed a piece of paper and then took blue nail polish and wrote stuff on it, and then took 1911 and painted it white and wrote on that as well.
It's enhanced. Lips.
Nice.
Yeah, liquid lipstick.
Gotcha.
Liquid
Enhanced.
lipstick.
What's the
Enhanced.
expiration date on this?
Track right.
I didn't know we had Harrison Ford as the host.
These are available in 6 different stores within 8 miles of her. Let me do some record checking to see which one she purchased it at.
CVS on 4th Street.
It looks like she purchased this one at 2 p.m. at the one on 4th Street.
If this was a CSI show, we'd be looking for fingerprints, right?
Uh-huh.
Zoom in on one of those. You zoom in on the serial number.
I'd like this gun, but the weight of the hammer is so much. Is there any way to reduce the weight of the hammer? Or, I mean, the trigger? Can I get the trigger weight reduced? Well,
Like
we
the
could drill
trigger.
some metal out of there. Like, oh, that's perfect.
What's her
You know what?
carabiner say?
She probably uses that lipstick as lapping compound.
Smart.
Yeah.
Pretty badass holster too.
It is. I don't like stuff like that on my holster, but that's me.
Where's the holster?
Dead center with the skulls on it.
Oh, yeah, I'm having some issues here. Sorry. Oh, okay. I see it now.
Patriot the Dark is saying, I believe talking about the vampires, restraining orders. I thought he said work too. Worked for his first ex.
Also,
Mandatory here. He said beheading is only beheadings only incapacitate them. Then you have to burn the head and the body in 2 separate fires.
that seems like a lot of work.
Or just keep the head for fun, right?
As long as they're not bothering me, I'm okay with them now.
Apothecary jars. Here's my collection of vampire heads. Freshly
Maybe
dead.
it's like a no vampire zone, and they could just leave us alone in that zone.
Well, if it doesn't kill them, then is it going to be like Futurama with all the heads in the jars?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice touch.
You know what's hilarious?
Oh,
about
snap it. Go ahead. Sorry. My fault.
Dracula. He can only come into your house if you invite him. What the hell is the problem? Like, don't go out at night and don't invite him in? What's the big deal?
Exactly.
So does that just mean all the other vampires are dicks? Like they're like, you know what? That Dracula guy has it wrong. We're just going to do what the hell we want.
Yeah, they don't
trick
respect
people
property
into inviting
rights.
them in. They trick you. That's half the vampire thing, is to trick you into inviting them in.
They're a bunch of anarchists.
Like Bram Stoker is just setting us up for the vampire takeover.
Yep.
So are they affected by silver bullets at all? I mean, I think that's like the Wolfman or something like that. It seems like silver bullets have more than one creature or whatever they can dispatch.
Well, in the movie Once Bitten, though, with Jim Carrey, or no, not Once Bitten. Sorry,
Twice Shy.
Nick Cage.
Maybe.
no, it was. Oh God,
The movie Silver Bullet.
there's another comedy.
Oh,
The one with Eddie Murphy in it?
No, earlier than that. It's like
Teen Wolf.
70s.
no. Nobody ever references Teen Wolf or anything.
But
Just did.
the boyfriend pulls a gun and said he has silver bullets, and the vampire says that only works on
Werewolves.
Are we at Fright Night?
No.
That's
Wow.
a good one.
We're all over the place trying to figure this one out, boss. Dig it out for us, man.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Give me a second here. I'm pretty sure it was 70s or early 80s.
You got an actor?
I think it was
It's a Dracula movie?
Hamill. Is it Hamill?
The
Mark
Lost
Hamill?
Boys.
The dude with the
Mark Hamill.
tan. No,
George
No, what?
Hamilton.
George Hamill. George Hamill.
Who's George
I-
Hamill?
Not Kiefer Sutherland.
Lost Boys. Nice riff, Barbecue. Forgot about that one. And an excellent soundtrack to boot.
What is it not George Hamill? What the hell's his name?
60 Dracula movies ranked from best to worst. There's 60 Dracula movies.
I don't know if there's any good Dracula movies, to be
Love
honest.
at First Bite came out in 1979. George Hamilton.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
There we are.
So he's a tan vampire?
Yeah, that guy, right?
How the hell does that work?
Then there
But
was
he's like- he was
Mel
like-
Brooks one in Dracula Dead and Loving It 1995.
Well, what if he was already tan when he was changed into a vampire, and then they just don't lose their pigment?
Or they just cast George Hamilton across type.
Billy the Kid versus Dracula 1966.
All right,
Oh,
I've
wow.
got to see that. That sounds absolutely horrid. I've got to see it.
Action
Gotta
drama
be a drive-in
horror.
movie.
Action drama horror. No comedy in there.
What's the runtime on it?
74 minutes.
Okay, a
3.8
little over now.
rating. Dracula travels to the American West, intent on making a beautiful ranch owner his next victim. Her fiance, outlaw Billy the Kid, finds out about it, and rushes to save her. It's
Sounds
literally
like the
a
fourth
college-
feature film. The fourth feature at a drive-in. Oh my god.
You know what?
It's too small a picture.
What
Yeah,
about the League?
You
of
said 66 for that?
Um, 1966.
I wonder if that would fall into the spaghetti westerns then.
It's that era. I mean, it looks like an old movie.
Yeah,
What about the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? I dug that movie. I liked it.
I've heard of that one. I don't
I thought it was
recall
good.
it though.
Come on.
It was the
$66
movie
million
so
movie.
bad, Sean Connery stopped acting after he was in it.
It wasn't
That's
like
the movie that killed his
that-
career.
that did happen though, right? He quit.
Yeah.
doing
No,
stuff.
he turned down The Matrix. He was going to be Morpheus. And instead he did The League of Extraordinary
He
Gentlemen.
would have not been good Morpheus. That would have been a bad thing to happen in the Matrix, wouldn't it?
I like the idea of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It just was not.
It was campy. Is that the way to say
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
It's kind of campy-ish. They didn't
It's a
even
guilty
have that.
pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
It was a steampunk or whatever that like thing was at the time. That like let's make everything like kind of like Batman, the first Batman. But yeah, it didn't take off. Anyway, I liked it. I thought it was pretty interesting because it had like the Nautilus in it, didn't it? That stupid weird long car and stuff. Like, here's a
Yeah.
car that's so long it can't turn corners, so we'll just never film it turning corners.
Yeah, I don't think this is any bigger of a picture.
I must have seen that movie, but I definitely never watched it twice.
Yeah, he might even shoot him, and then he says that silver bullets don't work on him. Well,
What about like a shotgun full of silver buckshot? Wouldn't that just remove like a chunk of his face?
Interesting.
What, the vampire or the werewolf?
Yeah. Like they're not bulletproof.
Patriot
Like,
in the
use
Dark.
a big
is-
enough round. He's not going to have a head.
Now wait, and Dracula is also if you like press like a crucifix, it burns them, and holy water's involved in Dracula too, right? So if you like bathe silver BBs, yeah, I'm sorry.
Patriot in the
the
Dark's
water.
bringing up Blackula.
Seen that? Yep.
Depending which Dracula though, or which vampire, right? Like you can hurt them, and all they do is go back in their coffin and get healed. So maybe
Yeah.
you hurt them, and then I think I like the one book. What was that one book? And it had Tom Cruise movie eventually. That was actually pretty interesting.
Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause it got into like the idea of a vampire being immortal and then growing up or becoming a vampire in like olden days, way olden days, like I don't know when it was, back in the olden like whenever Mozart was around, and then rock and roll modern days because his vampire lives forever, and then he just gets like depressed because he's like watching everybody grow old and die over and over and over, and then he, it's just kind of a weird vampire movie. And then anyway, that was a good one.
Pink Panther says the vampires all got jobs as DoorDash drivers. I've a couple working graveyard at a couple different stores. That's what people would call us, vampires, because we were, would come out at night.
I got a round that would work. Dragon breath, 12 gauge shotgun rounds. You set them on fire. That'd work, right?
Oh, but in that book version, whoever wrote that, some girl wrote it. In hers, like the one vampire, like the oldest one or something, or one of the really old ones, got so wailed on that it took them like hundreds of years to grow back. Like wasn't that the deal? Like I think something like that. Like one of the most powerful vampires everybody got pissed at him or something, tried to kill her or him, I forget. And then all it was left like an eyeball and a piece of skull or something. They put that in a coffin, and like hundreds and hundreds of years later, this powerful vampire comes out and is pissed.
Anne Rice is the author of those interview books.
I might be butchering that. It's been forever since I read it. I thought it was something like that.
Pink Panther says 2011 movie The Priest carved crosses on his bullets. That's what I was kind of wondering, the tumble on impact, because they've got kind of like the Phillips screwdriver head. Is that enough of a cross, or does it need to be longer in the middle and shorter on the sides?
Yeah, it's just an X otherwise.
Does it need to be consecrated? I guess
Probably
not, because you see people in the movies where they just will take two sticks, cross them, and to ward off the vampire or whatever. So I guess it doesn't have to be blessed by.
That's why it doesn't work, though, because if it's just an X, then it doesn't scare nobody.
Well, not every movie is real, so some people make up whatever they want to make up.
So if you had $100,000 to buy, you had to buy either modern firearms or Kalashnikovs. $100,000, you could only buy modern firearms or Kalashnikovs. Which one would you choose and why?
I would choose the modern firearms because I have no interest in Kalashnikovs.
Seems like crazy reasoning, but you could have all the interest you'd want. You could have $100,000 worth of interest.
How about you, Chris?
I'd go modern.
Why?
I like the AK platform. I have one, but there's a lot of other ones I'd rather have.
BBQ?
Well, if it's actually getting to purchase the firearms myself, I'd have to go with modern. But if it was like, oh, we're going to give you $100,000 worth of firearms, you get to choose modern, or $100,000 worth of modern firearms, or $100,000 worth of Kalashnikovs, then I'm choosing Kalashnikovs because I have no idea what that, quote, modern day firearms is going to be 100,000 of, because I could get $100,000 worth of high points at that point, which I wouldn't complain, but I'd much rather have $100,000 worth of Kalashnikovs at that point.
That's a good point. I didn't really say, so that makes a big difference. So yeah, if it's like, here's the $100,000 worth of guns, and you're like, damn it.
But yeah, if I get to go and buy them all myself, I'm going with modern day just because I've
gift
got a
cards,
really,
$100,000 worth of gift cards, let's say.
yeah, then definitely going modern day just because. Well, does 1911 count as modern day?
Yeah.
No.
Again.
Okay, yeah,
because
then
modern
100%.
day-
No, not really. No. not
Because
modern.
AK-47 is 1947, so if we're looking at that, that's what I thought the source in the question was.
Well, but I
something
said
after
Kalashnikov.
47.
I said
What about it? 2011. That's modern.
Yeah, no, that's modern.
As
So
long as it's in
1911. I mean, maybe a
45 or
modern
10
1911,
millimeter.
Not like a Colt World War One. That would you know
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, still go with modern day at that point.
The power of Christ impales you.
Wow.
Uh,
Is
yeah,
that
I
a porno?
watched. No, it's a B movie. Back when Netflix had the physical DVDs, it's one that I watched. This Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter. I mean, low budget.
That's pretty
It's
good.
like the scenes they shot in a park. You could see the people in the background that were just people at the park watching them film the movie.
But that's the way it was back then when you were like a group of people that wanted to accomplish it. You did what you could do. And you had VHS, so you could actually do it.
So how about you, DJ? Back to the question G Webs asked.
I would choose modern. And because I would want an auto HK. If it's newer, it's more modern.
And Baron?
modern, I'm only going to buy the Sig Spear. I just want as many of those I can afford with the silencer, full 9. And I'm just going to leave them in the crate and sit on them.
You buy $100,000 worth of them, and then isn't that going to screw with the market then?
Of course. What are they, like $6,000 each?
Oh my god, imagine that episode of Pawn Stars. Guy goes into Pawn Stars. Yeah, I got the Sig Spear. They're like, oh my god, how'd you get this? There's a guy that bought $100,000 worth of them, messed up the whole friggin' market. Where'd this come from?
Well, that's the thing. All you're
I
going to
might
do
be
is
that
take
guy.
17 others worth $1 million, and then yours are going to, the first couple will be worth $1 million, I guess. But then,
I can do my own SVD drama on YouTube. I can sell them one at a time on Gunbroker. 10 grand starting bid. I know what I got, right?
No low ballers, no tire kickers.
Don't worry, there's no reserve.
Serious inquiries only.
Yeah.
8,000 is the MSRP on that.
Oh man.
Wow. What is that chambered in?
277 Fury.
so with $100,000, you'd barely have 100. No, you'd barely have 10.
Yeah. I'd have like what, 12?
No, because you'd be paying taxes and stuff.
These aren't tax free? Gee whiz.
Shit, I'm paying tax.
We got to give it to the man?
What if I live in Oregon? No tax.
What do you think?
Aha.
Biden just prints
Do
money
you
out
not-
of nowhere?
Do you not pay attention to G-Web's channel? Friggin' taxes are like constantly hounding this man. Of course we're going to pay tax.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
What kind of fantasy land is this?
Fantasy people ignore taxes. They don't want to ignore taxes.
You write it off eventually.
Did Fosco?
Yeah, I went first.
All right. Well, I'm still picking Kalashnikovs because what the hell? $100,000 worth of guns. What are you going to? I mean, at least Barron's got an idea to make money on them or whatever. Everybody else is just like, what are you going to do with? I mean, seriously, what are you going to do with like 40 pistols or 200 pistols? That'd be so many guns. So I think it'd be more fun to explore whatever you could buy. You could pretty much just go to every gun show ever and just buy stuff and collections and neat stuff, and then I would say with $100,000 worth of Kalashnikov stuff, you could either get some kind of deal with a museum or start a museum. Find somebody to get with and put all that stuff on display. We need a Kalashnikov museum in the USA. So
I would
think
just-
it's fun. I'm old enough. I don't really need practical guns anymore. I'll borrow
I
them.
would just buy high points. That way, once you got them all loaded once, you never have to reload again. You just throw them away.
The ammo's cheaper than I thought. It's $34 for a box of 20. I figured it'd be more than that.
Ooh, I got a way to make money. How about I build a gun range, get a SOT, convert them all to full auto, and then I sell ammo to the people at the range that are renting the gun. at $40 a box.
You could
you
call
got enough
yourself
people-
Toad Man.
Instead of Dragon Man.
If you got enough people shooting at your range and it's an indoor range, then you can either collect the lead and recycle it and reload it, and or you can use powdered copper. And they say you can get like 70% of that powdered copper swept back up and smash it back into projectiles.
Yeah, that'd be a fun gig. Doing a full auto rental.
You figure most guns are designed to be used by either a trained soldier or a conscript, depending on the country and the culture. So either designed to be thrown away after its lifespan or parts swapped out. But either way, parts have lifespans, which is typically, well, let's say it's 10,000 rounds for a barrel. So if you think of something like an AK that, they figured they'd throw it away or do some kind of arsenal refinishing or something with them after 100 or 10,000 rounds or whatever it would be. Think about a rental place and how fast they're shooting 10,000 rounds. On a busy weekend or on a holiday weekend or when a new movie comes out or a new video game release or all the different things that might cause a more than normal use. And then, like Chris was saying, all the people that know it's busy on Saturdays, so they go in on Mondays and got some kind of free gift certificate or 2-for-1, and they're just in there, shooting just because they can. Those things, from what I understand, listening to the gunsmiths in Vegas, some of them, those guns are going through 10 times what they would ever go through in even a training scenario in a real situation. Like normal guns, maybe in training, they get a lot of abuse, but normally they're not going through anywhere near what rentals go through. So I'm wondering if that's going to create like a whole, the same way that Kel-Tec kind of adapts gun design to do things that are, on different tangents, and the way race guns turned into like be really practical, efficient race guns. I'm wondering if we're going to see full auto rental guns that'll be specific for that. Maybe think of like the way that plinking, when that was a part of fairs, when we were talking about roller coasters before, you would have plinking. What's that called? The
Gallery guns.
gallery. Thank you. Then there was little the gallery guns made specifically for that. Like, will there be full auto gallery guns, the equivalent of gallery guns for full auto, like something that's a modular gun that's just designed to run through it? Or will it always be they're chasing the military movie fads? But anyway, running a rental place, there's all kinds of aspects to it that I never even thought about until I started talking to those gunsmiths in Vegas.
I just want to say hello to AAF, American Ammo and Firearms. Good evening.
Like a Sten cost $6 to build in World War II. I mean, it's basically like a bicycle, parts like smushed together, and then a big thing that goes back and forth. And then, they run those things, and they're, I don't know what the lifespan on a Sten is, but I mean, a regular barrel is 10,000 rounds. I bet you that's 2,000-3,000 rounds or something. Even if they put fancy new good barrels in them, you got to take apart a Sten. You have to unbreak the welds and then like weld it all back together again. You can't even just do that many times.
Yeah, from what I've seen on the Sig Spear, everything that's a wear item is replaceable on it.
Is this like a Scorpion looking thing or a regular pistol?
It's a battle rifle. It's like a giant Sig MCX.
Oh, it's a rifle. I'm thinking of a pistol, like a Glock.
So it's like a 308 sized MCX.
So that's why it's $3,000. I thought it was like a race gun or something.
I wish it was $3,000. It's $8,000. It's insane.
Here's a picture of one.
It's a Sig. That's why Sig people are crazy. They pay anything for it. Sig is like the Apple of guns.
There it is.
She's pretty. Yeah, look at that mag. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What's going on with What is that, a charging handle or like the thing that holds down the top of a cooler?
Those are canted iron sights, I think.
Oh, okay.
Backups.
That makes more sense.
Enhance.
Yeah,
Okay.
this one I can't enhance.
He refuses.
All Come on, Decker.
Can you right click on it?
Rail. Monolithic rail.
This is right clicked on it.
Ah.
What's in spec?
Is this a browser? You can right click, open
Nope.
a new window.
That's not it.
That
doesn't
worked.
matter. I can do. That's as big as I can make it.
Yeah, I'd like about 10 of those. That'd be fun.
Ozzy has a question. Has anybody started reading the Glock book yet?
Yes.
I just got mine yesterday.
I went to go look if I could find it on audio tape for free anywhere. So does that count? I couldn't find it on audio tape for free anywhere.
Is that
If
the one you were
you-
talking about on your show earlier, G-Webs?
Yeah. Oh, have you not heard about that book before?
No. No,
Oh,
why?
dude.
Not until you said something earlier.
Are you a Glock fan or you don't like Glocks?
No, I like Glock. They're not one of my favorites, but I have a
I
few.
mean, there's a couple of people. I never really heard you. I didn't recall you having a big opinion on them either way, so I wasn't sure. But I know there's some people that like hate them, like they just despise them, and they won't read that book because it says Glock on it. But people that have read it can attest. Like it's really about guns in the United States. They
Mhm.
just do it like through the eyeballs of a writer who is looking through Glock, I guess. But it's really about guns in general in so many aspects. That's the best part. So cool.
Say,
got a
Barbecue,
question.
aren't you doing a book review show based on that volume?
Yeah, we're starting a two-way book club. That's the first book that we're reading.
Inaugural run. Nice.
Oh, it was. DJ wasn't there that day. Or are you just asking the question so we can say it?
I think he was just the second one.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
seriously.
one of us were to read the book out loud on a YouTube video,
You get in
would that
trouble.
be against copyright?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's copyright or whatever, but yeah. I already
You're
asked.
making
about
your own audiobook technically?
it. Yeah, they got all mad. I got
Damn.
permission from Jeff to do that one book, and it actually a pain in the ass because it takes forever. But when I was talking about that, exploring it, people said not to just do it because the audiobook thing is like a thing. Like people, the author pays money for the audiobook, and then the audiobook place sells it, right, to make money back on that or whatever. And they tend to get all mad.
I know
And
what
if-
to do.
If you look on there, the only thing you ever find is ripped off versions of the actual audiobooks. You never really find anybody just reading audiobooks. So I'm guessing that means that they go after people.
I'll just replace every time they say Glock, I'll put SIG in. They'll never figure it out.
Actually, that would be interesting if you just said something else instead of that, if that would count.
Be like Colt instead of Gaston Colt.
For audiobooks, for those who listen to audiobooks, do you prefer the author to read themselves or, I guess, a voice actor?
It
Depends
Author.
on
Whoever's
the
better.
author.
Author and non-dramatized. Just a clean read.
Whoever's better. Sometimes I can dig both. I get what you're saying, DJ, but sometimes when you're reading like fiction, like one of these adventure spy books or something, having some little bit of what's going on, this helps me because I can't remember, I can't keep track of who's saying what. So when they add a little bit of, they don't really say it in language or in character, but they do kinda. That helps me a lot.
Like I don't want Stephen Hawking reading his book.
Hmm.
I think
Getting
you
at
did
you.
it, too.
I've only listened to nonfiction, kind of more reference books kind of stuff. Or I guess not reference books, but nonfiction. So I haven't listened to fiction books.
I'd recommend Rogue Warrior. So
I've
Richard
read his books.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Then he reads his own books, and they're not abridged. So wait, they're not verbatim. So he gives you the gist of it, Yeah, it's really good, and he swears and everything. They're awesome.
Does he read him like he's the greatest guy that's ever lived? Like a
Marcinko
seal?
was one of the greatest guys.
I know, but
I've met him like 4 times.
The way seals are.
Oh no, seals are like him. Seals are because of him. Yeah, no, yeah.
Guy's got his own video game.
To me, it kind of seemed like his first book, the first Rogue Warrior book, was the most nonfiction, and then as he went along, they were embellished more and more.
He had to. No, that's definitely what happened. The Rogue Warrior, right? The one about Vietnam you're talking about, the green one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one was nonfiction. He got in trouble, and then he said, "You can keep writing," because he was one of the first SEALs, his first special operators to start writing, because he invented SEAL Team 6. There was only the guy who invented Delta that could have ever done anything else. So he cut the ground to even let people write about it, and they got mad and said, "No, you got to fake this stuff." So he started to fake, and then he just got less and less. That other guy, Wise, whoever, would write them. So they get worse as you get into the 6th or 8th or whatever. But those first couple, he kind of would be like, if you'd listen, I was really digging them, right? So he would be like, "These are fake, wink, wink." Because they told me I had to make them fake, so I just changed the names. But they were the same things. And then they started getting mad that he was saying stuff about stuff that he did. So they were like, "Quit doing this and now start making fake stories." And then eventually he kills Ross Perot. I think he did kill Ross Perot. My friend says he didn't kill Ross Perot. What do y'all think? Did you read that one?
I didn't read that one. I think I only read, I guess,
he ends up
first
killing
3.
Ross Perot in such a way that his dagger enters his... Barbecue already made this a horrible chat, so I'm just going to take it. He kills the guy by jabbing his dagger into his clavicle so that he drowns on his own blood quietly. That kind of is neat. So anyway, the Marcinko is like a whole another level of awesome. So the first couple of books are think of them as 100. Like Red Cell is real, dude. Red Cell is Red Cell. So it was Richard, it was Green, it was Rogue Warrior, and then it was Red Cell. Did you read that one?
Yeah.
Red Cell is where he goes around testing the Navy's.
Yes, right? I read that one.
That's real. And then after that, they're like, "Quit doing real stuff," because he said too much real stuff in Red Cell. So you have to read Red Cell. It's super cool. So basically, the guy that invented SEAL Team 6 got bored because they didn't need him. So he said, "You know what we're going to do to keep my guy sharp? We're going to go in and infiltrate every important naval thing. Like if there's nuclear there, if there's something important there, we're going to break in. We're going to grow our hair long and just look like a bunch of hippies and bikers, and we're going to break into every nuclear facility, and then you can decide if they did their job adequately or not." And they ended up breaking into basically everywhere, and everybody got black eyes because these biker dudes would just break into these nuclear facilities, other stuff. But anyway, so they got really mad that he did Red Cell. So then they're start faking it. So he started to do more and more of the fake stuff. But then he also did a whole line of leadership and business books that are amazing. I mean, this guy went to Vietnam, became one of the most wanted dudes killing Vietnamese, or killing, not Vietnamese, but killing communists, became one of the most wanted dudes, came back, was so well respected that they invented SEAL Team 6 eventually. And in the process of deciding not just to be a thug, but to be a Navy officer, he went back to school. And I mean, a guy who's just doesn't even care about the stuff that he's done. And he'll talk about it, like you say, he's proud of the stuff that he's done. Other people would be appalled about. And he's also can sip Bombay gin wearing a tux and hang out with any state, any top level world, international level State Department dinner and shit, and fit in, and then do these his business and leadership books. I highly recommend them. They're really, really good. And they're nothing like the fiction stuff. Anyway, Marcinko is really cool. I could tell you a story about meeting him.
Yeah. How'd you meet him?
SHOT Show 2009. We spent a bunch of money going to SHOT Show. That's the one I talk about where my friend Greg, we wanted to do video. So this first year we could do video. My friend Greg goes to Circuit City and buys a HD camera so that we can take video at SHOT Show. So we got a lot on the line. We've just bought this camera, and we can't afford the camera. We eventually come back and sell the camera, or return the camera, and just kind of rented it for a week.
Have a good night, Gary.
So we
Sorry,
got a
go
lot
ahead.
on the line. We're walking around SHOT Show, and my friend is there, and I told him that I had met Marcinko the year before, and my friend is also a big fan, read all the books. We talk about the books and stuff, and I told him that I met Marcinko before, and Marcinko's a super cool dude in real life. And he's like, okay, cool. So we go to SHOT Show. We're walking around. This is in Florida. And we walk up, and Marcinko was signing, I think, Emerson knives with an engraver. So if you bought an Emerson knife, which you're not allowed to do at SHOT Show anyway, he would engrave it right there. And these are like $200 knives, so I didn't get one or whatever. Super expensive knives, way more than I could afford. But this is the scenario. We walk up. I had met him once, and then my friend was with me, and I was going to be like, whatever, he wasn't used to being pressed. I was already used to being pressed by now. So I was going to be like, hey, this is my friend. Can he get I think he wanted an autograph. This other guy was there being a total dick. And Marcinko sees me and goes, and he kind of moves this guy aside in such a way as to like give me a look like, thank goodness somebody I know is here so I can brush this guy aside. And then because that guy was being, I won't get into it, but that guy was being really weird, like a bragger or whatever, like trying to impress Marcinko, which I'm sure he's not interested in. Because of that, he like just freaking talked to my friend Greg like forever, and Greg totally dug it. Like at the time, there's that video game that you're talking about, and I don't play video games, but Greg does. So he was telling him, I think it was either about to happen or it just happened. So Marcinko ended up having somebody to talk to who was not that other guy. And then he actually liked talking to him. Plus, he knew who I was. So that was freaking awesome. So then after that, the next year at SHOT Show, I'm walking down the aisle and Marcinko's like, hey, man. And we're fucking talking for a while, which is awesome. And then the fourth time I seen him, he was getting kind of old. But Marcinko's a real deal. He's awesome, cool dude.
Yeah, he passed away last year.
Yeah.
Not realize that.
Yeah, last December.
Did the Rona get him?
I do not know.
I feel like
A lot
he'd be
of
too
those guys
badass
had
to.
a lot of chemical stuff, and they didn't realize when they were blowing stuff up back in the day, they were learning how to blow stuff up. So if they needed to, let's say, get somebody inside of a place, and they could do about 100 different ways to get in, or they could just blow a hole in the wall and walk in, they would do stuff like that, right? And then when they trained to do that, they'd blow a hole in a wall 700 times so that they could blow in a hole in a wall just like they needed to when they wanted to. And they were developing this stuff, so they would bring in like people who deal with dynamite, right? Most people who deal with dynamite are blowing a stump or like digging a hole or smashing two kinds of metals together to do something else. So, they're talking to people and like, well, what if I wanted to run up to this wall and blow it open? Like without any kind of prep and like, 7 hours worth of this and that. Like, no, yeah, we just want to run up and blow it open. Well, then I guess you could try this, but, we don't do that. And then these guys all got traumatic brain injuries a lot. And think of all the dust and debris. You go into some place, think of the heinous place that SEAL Team 6 would have to go blow a hole in. And we're just talking about blowing holes, not throwing grenades or any of the other stuff they would do, but just blowing holes. If you've ever been in a room where you blow C4 off or a big grenade or something, like it takes every particle in that place and throws it into the suspension, just like in Barron's video right there. It's like bring it back, flashbacks. Like everything that's gross in that room is now suspended in the room.
Yep.
So a lot of these dudes that had to do that stuff or did that stuff for years, I mean, the diseases and stuff they got going on, they were unfortunately the people that, were the first filter. They were the first ones to absorb all that. So I'm sure, luckily these guys were, athletic specimens. So, they were healthy as shit until it got them. But usually they got something like cancer or something horrible like that.
He looks like he actually got lucky. He had a heart attack at 81 on Christmas.
Hopefully not in his sleep.
Fuck. Yeah. '81's good run though.
Yeah.
Well, we started getting off on that on him reading his own books, but he did read them, so you can always go back and get him reading his books, and he's definitely jovial or whatever you want to say. Like, he's not just.
What is that?
This was sent by Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog. I don't have any other context.
So that's the one of the lowers that he built for a bunch of us we all donated parts for Willie Bullet Man's. We're doing a big giveaway to raise money for his family. Because Willie was a big part of the Georgia Shooting Connection and Uncle Jim's chats, and he got COVID. I don't know. He probably passed away about 6 months ago, I guess. He was another YouTuber. So Bulldog is building 2 ARs that they're going to raffle off to raise money for his family. So that's the first lower he's got done.
That's
Yeah,
cool. He's putting parts in to make the guns. Is that the deal?
Yeah, like I donated a barrel. It's Jason Stewart's donated stuff. There's a bunch of people that have donated parts. There's a lot of other stuff they're giving away too. Coffee mugs, and there's a bunch of stuff. But there's going to be 2 ARs when it's all said and done.
Nice.
I didn't know him very well. I had just kind of started getting to know him when he passed away. But he seemed like a great guy. If you have a link for that yet, go ahead and drop it.
Yeah, as soon as Jamie over at Georgia Shooting Connections putting this all together. And
okay.
As soon as I get stuff, I'll start sending it out to everybody. I think they're gonna do like a live raffle. So.
Nice.
It's a nice setup.
I like that stock. I don't know why, but something about it. So while we have a lull, anybody know where I can pick up a brace for a Mossberg Shockwave? Everywhere that I thought of is sold out. Brownells, Midway USA, Joe Bob Outfitters.
Which type of brace are you looking for?
At this point, anything. Just need it for a Mossberg Shockwave.
I might know someone that can help you out with that.
Oh,
Off air.
very nice.
So we're coming up on our hour and a half, so I think we're going to shut her down at the midnight hour. So, Chris, thank you for coming on. It's great to have you on finally. Thanks for staying up. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, just I'll plug the show for Wednesday night from 9 to 11 Eastern, and thanks for having me on. Yeah, this was a good time. I enjoyed this.
Oh, no problem. Barrett, can you grab links? Sorry, I should have asked you earlier.
Let me do that.
Barbecue. Plug away.
You got a show tomorrow night at 11 p.m. It is affectionately known to some as the Ripoff. Others know it as Almost Nightly Firearms Expo. And then I think I'm doing a barbecue chat on Saturday because the cook that I was supposed to do got postponed until Monday. So pretty sure we'll have the barbecue chat. And if nobody was paying attention, just realize how magnificent Chris's beard is.
So your book club, is that a part of going to be a part of your show, or is that going to be a separate chat?
I have
from your
not
shows?
figured that out yet. General consensus seemed to be that just do it on Amphi, but I don't know. I kind of want it to be its own separate entity from Amphi. That way, like once a month, hey, we just fire up the show and do the book club thing. However, if like I said, if the general consensus is like, yeah, no, just do it during an Amphi time slot, then I'll just be like, okay, there will be like one episode a month of Amphi, probably a Tuesday or Thursday episode where, it's just focused on the book club.
I know G Webs is making a joke, but I forgot I was going to do a giveaway tonight. Completely blew it off. So next week we will do a giveaway. Darn it. Well, I was going to give away one of the JSD t-shirts and probably some other stuff, and I completely forgot. So I would apologize, but nobody knew anyways. So we'll do it next week.
Nice. One other thing to plug. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
July 12th, I believe it is. Pot of Gold Auctions will be having an auction, and G-Webs has some stuff in that. I know that there's a AK-47 kit in there that I was eyeballing, but is already out of my price range. And there's also a pair of grips that Erstwhile made way back when for DGS. So I'm looking forward to winning the grips. I'll fight to the death on those, but the AK-47 kit is out of my price range at this point.
Did he make that during season 1? Those grips? Or I took a year off.
No, he made them in 2020, the first year that I was doing DGS with you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's like
Yeah.
like before the long ass break.
Yep.
DJ, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Indeed, on Saturday in the evening, before Barbecue's Barbecue Chat, A Great Start Shooting School is the name of the channel. With your permission, I'll drop a link to that channel. And there's a regularly occurring program there. It's Suicide Saturday. It's a brief program. Always good to check in there. And be there on Saturday.
Ozzy's saying that Primary Arms have braces for shockwaves.
Oh, okay. I have to check that out. I didn't even think about Primary Arms. Thanks, Ozzy.
And G-Webs, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Thanks again for the link and for hosting these shows. But Second Matters is Saturday, so G23's got a morning show. We'll have an afternoon show. Getting together and talking about 2A.
Andrew Carmichael has come in for the end. So appreciate you showing up, and sorry we're closing her down. So so I appreciate everybody that's been on the panel. There's links to their YouTube channels. Give them a look. And thank you to everybody that's been out there in the live chat. Both those who have commented and those who may be watching but didn't comment. I still appreciate you watching. And then those who watch this in replay. Leave a comment. You can keep the conversation going. Anything we talked about, you think that we got right, we got wrong, or as I said, always glad to hear suggestions. I am fine with criticism. Constructive criticism will help make us better. So,
can I offer some criticism?
Yep.
I don't like shows that allow people to criticize them.
That's all right. Other than that,
Can I speak to your manager?
Yep. Let me put you on hold. So I appreciate everybody, and I hope everybody has a good night.